Breaking news, we continue to follow the Casey Anthony saga at issue, and we're still waiting. Hard to believe it was a week ago that Judge Perry had the hearing, and at issue whether or not Casey Anthony is going to have to go back to Orlando to serve 1 year of supervised probation based on that check fraud conviction. And Judge Perry said it at the time, it's a legal mess. So are we any closer to a decision? You'd think it would happen today. You'd think he'd like to get things wrapped up. Joining us to talk about it, in session producer Michael Christian there in Orlando, also with us, criminal defense attorney B.J. Armstrong. Michael, you and I spent a little time together in Orlando. I didn't think we'd still be talking about a Casey Anthony legal issue at this point, but it's Casey Anthony, so hey, anything can happen. Are we any closer? When do you expect a ruling, Michael?
Well, first thing I have to tell you, Mike, is it's just as hot here as it was when you left a couple of weeks ago. So, unfortunately, it hasn't cooled off. We are thinking there may be a ruling from Judge Perry today. What we know for sure is we were told last Friday after the hearing that it was expected to come this week and it wouldn't be before Wednesday. Well, we sat here all day Wednesday without a ruling. We sat here all day yesterday without a ruling. We're hoping for today. I certainly don't want to be sitting in this heat again next week. But this is kind of like waiting for a jury to come back with a verdict. You know it's going to happen, but it's totally out of your control, and there's no way to predict when it's actually going to come down.
Don't you think, though, today, Michael, don't you think the judge would like to get this one off his plate before the weekend? I mean, 1 week's time and have a decision here?
I think he would love to get it off his plate as soon as he can and as thoroughly as he can. You know, poor Judge Perry was out of this thing. The trial was over. Then all of a sudden, here's this issue dumped in his lap again. Yes, I think you're absolutely right, Mike. I think he'd like to get it over with and he'd like to move on.
I know. Gosh, as we watched the hearing last week, it was like some sequel. And not all the players came back for part two. Let's bring you again B.J. Bernstein, our criminal defense attorney. B.J., so the basic arguments are what? From the defense, hey, no matter the clerical error, she served in good faith 1 year probation, even though it was in jail, where the judge, I think, was making the most effective arguments that this wasn't a done deal, basically saying Judge Strickland's intent was for her to serve after she was released. Is it the legal mess the judge sees, or do you think it's more cut and dry as to what should happen here?
You know, I think legally, you know, probation means you're out of jail, and she wasn't out of jail. So I think the judge's intent when they originally gave this sentence was it would be after it was in jail. The more persuasive part of the defense argument is this fear of harm to Ms. Anthony after all this happened due to the publicity. And I think that if the judge changes his ruling, it's going to be more based more than that, than all of a sudden reinterpreting the law, because again, once one judge does it one way for one defendant, he may have to do it for others. So it's broader than just Casey Anthony.
Got it. Well, let's hit on that, Michael. You know, and it's a legitimate argument. You're still seeing it. You and I saw it together, the fervor against her, especially in Orlando. Is that continued to be a topic there? Casey Anthony's safety if she has to come back to town?
You know, it is an issue. It was brought up at the hearing last Friday, Mike, and you have to remember, it's not just an issue of Casey Anthony's hearing. Let's say, and God forbid, I'm not advocating this, but let's say some crackpot decides to take a shot at her. It's not just endangering Casey Anthony. It's endangering any police officers who might be around. It's endangering the media circus. It's endangering somebody at the probation office, or God forbid, some other pushing a stroller down the street. It's a definite safety issue, and not just to this defendant.
Yeah, gosh, that's a great point. BJ, so with that said, and Judge Perry a week ago at that hearing on Friday mentioned, I think it was 2 or 3 times, the term administrative probation, meaning, well, you tell me what it means. The way I understand it, she doesn't have to come back to Orlando, right?
Exactly, and that's probably the smartest thing for him to do, which is phone call in and keep track, and someone in the government know for the next year what she's doing and where she is. Is she employed? Is she getting counseling? All the things that any normal defendant would do, and also has she reimbursed the money that she stole as a result of this check fraud? That person is due the restitution. So if I'm splitting my decision here, I would say that Perry's going to keep her on probation, but perhaps do it in such a way where she can phone in and check in, but so authorities know where she is for the next year.
Yeah, sounds like the logical compromise. We'll see. Again, Casey Anthony and logical and compromises. Haven't seen a lot of that before, but we'll see.
No.
BJ, thank you. Michael, you and I, I'm sure we'll be checking in with each other as soon as that ruling comes down. We expect today. Guys, thanks again.
Absolutely.
We'll keep you posted, by the way. HLN, the place to be for every development concerning Casey Anthony. We'll have it for you. Susan.
All right, Mike, thanks. We're following this case.